Hi, everybody. It is Princess Ariel M. I'm back to talk to you again about the movie Straw. That movie was very triggering for me. It reminded me of being ran off the job at Disney World at the Magic Kingdom back in September of 2001, which is a very long time ago. And, it surprised me just how triggering that movie was to see that lady with her daughter and going through pure hell. And that was like, me having to make that final decision to leave a company that I loved so much. And I had built friendships over a 10-year period, which is like a decade, and have worked my butt off to the point where I could afford to live on my own my own home, own my own vehicle. I didn't have roommates. I had a dog and a cat. Those were my roommates. And have a person who knew that I was trans go behind my back and tell my boss, to the point where they, kind of made a plan to sabotage my career at that company by saying, hey, if you're trans, then you can't work here, 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 and here. And these are the only places that you can work. And this is the only bathroom you could use. And me knowing myself that if I do this thing for them, I'll be able to transition, but I will no longer be able to afford to pay my mortgage on my house, and I won't be able to afford to pay for my Jeep. Like, I knew that I was going to lose everything. And by them binding me to these really, really tough, restricted areas, I had to basically make a decision to put my 2 weeks notice in and leave. And I toughed it out for a little while, trying to stick with it. And just like in that movie, and the way I imagine it was, it's like, say you were raising a kid and you had the kid from, you gave birth to it. And then by the time it was age 10, somebody came and ripped that child out of your arms and told you couldn't see your baby anymore. You will never see that baby again. And you don't have any choice because they're making the rules and you have to follow the rules. Well, you could follow the rules or you could make a decision to just, leave, like just accept it for what it is and go. And I had to make a decision to leave because there's no way that I'm going to stay in that situation and I'm going to lose everything anyway, everything that I worked so hard for, because the company is seniority based. And the baby is the damn job and the people, the friends that I made. Because me having to leave and say goodbye to everybody, knowing that I was going literally out of the state, I was never going to see them again. And we weren't going to keep in touch with each other. Basically, that's usually how it works. And, to add insult to injury, the person that I was moving with got killed in a car crash. So my brain just snapped. And so I think watching Taraji P. Henson in that movie go through those series of things with her child, it really honed in on me how horrible it is to be outed in a company by somebody who is LGBT and to be humiliated basically and shunned and punished for trying to save my own life, because a lot of people, don't understand what it's like to be trans unless you are. I didn't have any support system around me through that process, just like Taraji's character didn't really have a support system. And then by the time she did have a support system, it was too late. She had her brain had already snapped or whatever. And, you know, it just it's just triggering. Like I said, I lost everything. My home, my car, um, all of my personal belongings that were in storage. That didn't last very long. That thing got sold to auction. So all of my collectibles that I had accumulated so much, stuff over the 10-year period, traveling and stuff in the Magic Kingdom, working in the parades department, it was everything to me. And I loved that company. And I loved, the friendships that I had built there. I'll never get that back. And all of these years later, it still brings me to tears because it's like that company made such an impression on my life that um I'll never get that ever again. I'll never feel that way again about anything. And then to just um have to turn the page on something that you love very much. It's like a company that you've invested all of your time and money and stuff into, only to get run off. I didn't get fired. I had to leave because they hadn't put me on so many restrictions. I couldn't work anywhere else. They wouldn't allow me to use the restrooms. They wouldn't allow me to use the bathrooms. I only had one bathroom that I could use, and there was millions of bathrooms around that place. Um, and so watching Straw definitely gave me some, you know, very traumatic memories of my time at Disney again, even though, like I said, I loved working there, and um, I had to make a decision to leave just because people wanted to be up and be phobic about it, and to think that the person who, ruined it for me was, of LGBTQ experience, who participated in, and lots of people participated in that downfall and that spiral out of mind that happened at that time. And it didn't stop anything. They didn't really stop me from living my life. I'm still here to tell you guys, about something that happened so long ago. And the thing is, um, Straw definitely gave me pause. And I think a lot of you guys should see Straw, because I think a lot of, especially women, will be able to relate to it, especially single mothers, people who are just down and out financially, having financial woes, or a combination of the two. I think it definitely deals with mental health. Um, my mental health was fragile at the time, and I needed help, and there was no one coming to the rescue to save me from losing my job. And um, it sucked. I mean, it just was a crappy time to um, have to walk away from all my friends. I got torn. We all got ripped apart. Have to say goodbye to each other. I moved to Arizona for a while. Eventually, I went back to Florida, and then I moved back to my hometown, and then I moved back to Arizona, to Phoenix again, and then on to Las Vegas a couple of years after that. So I actually started bouncing around all over the place over another 10, 15, 20 years. So, um, and that's all I really want to say about it. Just kind of back down memory lane with that, just from watching Straw. And that it was very triggering, and it kind of reminded me of my own time of mental health and being outed and run off the job. And so, um, if you haven't seen Straw, check it out on Netflix. Tyler Perry, Taraji P. Henson, Tiana Taylor, Sherry Shepard, y'all did y'all thing. The whole cast and crew, everything was, you know, it was just I think it's the perfect time, especially now with what's going on in the world, to think about people's mental health through this presidency, and watching people's lives get destroyed um, based on colorism and racism and hatred. And it's the same thing I went through as a trans person, a trans identified female woman. And that's all I want to say. Thank you guys for listening. Like, share, subscribe. If you have seen Straw, tell me what you thought. If you've been run off your job and you've had to leave a job that you loved, leave that comment. I would like to hear what you guys think about your mental health and what you went through on your jobs and stuff, and what you thought about the movie. So, thank you. Goodbye.
dive into the magical world of Edwina's Bedtime Adventures. By Ariel Williams. Join Edwina, the little hippo with a big imagination, as she drifts off to sleep and embarks on whimsical bedtime journeys. Whether she's saving the day as a brave firefighter, caring for patients as a nurse at Sunny Valley Hospital, or exploring the wonders of the jungle, Edwina's heartwarming tales will capture the imagination of young readers and spark endless bedtime giggles. This is an electronic book. You'll need an EPUB reader or PDF reader to enjoy this whimsical tale. Get your copy today at lulubooks.com or follow the link tree in profile to get your copy and let the adventure begin.
Gas Station Diaries by Adam King is a compelling collection of fictional stories drawn from the author's experiences working at a gas station during the tumultuous year of 2020. Set in the unassuming locale of Rainbow Land, the narrative unfolds in a place where time seems to stand still, yet unexpected drama and human encounters abound. This is an electronic book. You must upload an EPUB reader or a PDF reader to enjoy this book. Get your copy today at lulubooks.com and let the story unfold.
The Baker and the Handyman's Sweet Connection. In a quaint village nestled in a picturesque valley, there stood a small house in the shape of a mushroom. This whimsical home belonged to a young boy named Jamie, barely out of high school, who had a passion for baking. Inside, his cozy kitchen was always filled with the sweet aroma of cakes, cookies, and all sorts of delightful treats. What made his creation special was that each of his cakes was shaped like tiny mushrooms, a nod to his quirky home. Jamie's baking became the talk of the town. From birthdays to celebrations, everyone in the village adored his sweets.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
Sable's Song, A Siren's Journey to Joy. Once upon a time, in a small, worn-out town in Middle America, there lived a little child named Sable. Worn into poverty, Sable's body was frail, so thin that you could see her bones, but her heart was filled with an exuberance that not even hunger could dull. Sable was awkward, with dark, deep-set eyes that sparkled with innocence and wonder. Despite being born a boy, Sable always knew she was different. Inside her lived a girl, bright and effervescent, waiting to bloom.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
The Park of Secrets.
In the year 2060, near the heart of Florida, just a stone's throw from Disney World, stood a theme park unlike any other, a place known as the House of Secrets. It was a magical park, much like a state fair, filled with towering rides, carnival games, and parades that drew people from all over the world. But among the grand Ferris wheel and the colorful day parade, there was one attraction that outshined them all, the Parade Princess, a mesmerizing mermaid named Kenya. Kenya was a sight to behold. At 22 years old, fresh out of college, she had the kind of beauty that drew people to her like moths to a flame. Her brown skin glowed under the park lights, her hair a stunning mix of purple and pink that cascaded over her shoulders. Little pink hearts adorned her cheeks, and a ribbon of color stretched across her nose. But it wasn't just her beauty that made her special. Her eyes, big and almond-shaped, seemed to capture the hearts of everyone who saw.
Discover the magic of the Park of Secrets. Step into a world of wonder with the Park of Secrets, a heartwarming tale by Ariel Williams that will captivate your imagination. This enchanting story is now available exclusively on Lulu Books.
The Future, Daughters of Liberty, A New Dawn. In 2040, the United States was a fractured nation, still reeling from the fallout of Project 2025, the catastrophic policy that had allowed a resurgence of systemic oppression. The Deep South had seceded once more, forming the antebellum republic, where human trafficking, racial inequality, and gender oppression became tragically normalized. The Second Civil War. erupted as the rest of the nation sought to free those trapped in this dystopian regime. After years of bloodshed, Kamala Harris had finally led the Union to victory, restoring a fragile sense of hope. But the battle scars ran deep, especially in places like Louisiana, where the remnants of a broken society still lingered.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
A Dying Planet, The Last Harvest.
In the year 2060, Earth is a shadow of its former self, choked by pollution, endless concrete, and abandoned by nature. Only a small fishing village by the sea has managed to preserve the planet's last untouched forest. In this dying world, June and Win, two young girls and the last children in their village, cling to the remnants of hope and innocence. Win roams the forest, collecting the season's last harvest, while June sings songs that echo with a haunting beauty through the village.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.